When talking about slavery of today, why are people so obsessed with talking about the slavery in George Washington's time? You can't fix the slavery of today in human trafficking and sex trafficking of today by always talking about George Washington and the slavery in the colonial era. But we do know for a fact that there was sex trafficking and human trafficking on the Maui missing children, that the John Podesta emails, the Jeffrey Epstein client list had slavery, sex trafficking. We know about the cobalt mines of Africa, the slavery there. We know about the Walmart missing children bulletin boards. We know about the shipping containers on the east and west coast of the United States and the northern and southern border with the trafficking of fentanyl and heavy narcotics. So why is it that people are so obsessed with all this going on the topic of slavery that they don't want to really understand what's going on? Maybe it's because it'll break their cognitive dissonance and their mass formation psychosis that the world is really evil, run by people who the currency of that evil is sex trafficking and human trafficking. Think about that. I wrote 2 books about sex trafficking and human trafficking, and I thought to myself, because people are so obsessed with talking about the slavery of the past and disregarding and minutely talking about in morsels the slavery of today without really digging into it, why not talk about George Washington and the slavery of that time to bring awareness to the slavery of today? So a series of books that I read about the slavery of today is called Pedophile and Empire, Satan, Sodomy, and the Deep State. It's a 5-part series that goes through, here it is, 5-part series that goes through the different regions of the world and goes through all the references, all the citations, all the notes, all the interviews, all of it. It was very difficult to read this, and you really see the evil in the world when it comes to sex trafficking and human trafficking today, because more people are enslaved today in human trafficking and sex trafficking than ever before in human history. And I do know about human trafficking and sex trafficking of today. Look at the cobalt mines of Africa. Nobody wants to talk about that. They think it's just some imaginary thing. Some people do, but it's real. And then you look at the slavery of George Washington's time, which was horrific in its culture in that specific time period, but we can't change the past. I don't know what to say. Like, do we have a time machine to change anything? Not that I know of. Other books about George Washington and that topic, I read The Indian World of George Washington. I read Washington at the Plow. And I also read The Only Unavoidable Subject of Regret. So yes, I know about slavery in George Washington. I also know about slavery of today. And if we're going to talk about the slavery of George Washington, we need to also talk more about the slavery of today in the cobalt mines and the Maui missing children and the John Podesta email, the Pizzagate scandal, the Jeffrey Epstein client list, the Walmart missing children bulletin board, the shipping containers. Why don't we talk about these things? I think there's something to be said and something to be looked into, and I hope this helps to raise awareness to that, get somebody interested. But this book here, Cobalt Red, is a very important book about the slavery of today, and I think that people should not be so obsessed with the past, because that's where you'll be stuck. And if you're interested, don't forget to check out my George Washington book On the Banks of the Potomac and POTUS1, both available on Amazon in the book category.